getting closer. They stopped in front of him. Through the dust cloud, Bailey could see a black headscarf and a pair of dark eyes staring at him. Piercing, hate-filled eyes. "Dog!" The man raised his rifle and spun it around, knocking Bailey to the ground with the butt. Then, as if in slow motion, Bailey watched as the butt slammed into his head again. Chapter 1. Sydney, Tuesday. On the carpet of a small Rushcutters Bay apartment, near the mouth of Sydney's Cross-City Tunnel, a woman lay dead. Her face was a sickening shade of blue and red. The dark welts in her neck suggested that she had been strangled. But that was a problem for the police, not John Bailey. "I want you on this one," Gerald had called to tell him earlier that morning. "Why? Sounds like a murder. And since when did I get assigned to crime and grime?" "It's more complicated than I'm telling you. You haven't filed a story in months, and I'm not paying you to sit around in late-night bars telling war stories to rich divorcees in Paddington anymore. Got it?" Bailey ignored the insult because he wanted to know more. Maybe the journalist in him was still in there, somewhere. Still, he couldn't resist having a dig back. "Right. Sounds like it matters. Someone you knew? Anything you need to get off your chest?" "Nah, mate. Just go. We'll talk later." Bailey could tell that Gerald wasn't up for playing the game, so he backed off. "Better get moving then. I'll let you know. Thanks. And Bailey?" "Yeah?" "You speak only to me about this one. Right?" "Okay, boss." Gerald hung up. Bailey knew that his old friend hated being his boss, so he reminded him whenever he could. He also knew that Gerald had been good to him since he'd arrived back from London, a broken man. For the first time in as long as he could remember, Bailey was resigned to doing his job. 2 police cars were parked outside the apartment complex, one marked, the other one of those turbocharged Holdens that plain-clothed cops drove these days. The front door of the building was wide open. This crime beat was easier than he remembered. Bailey walked along the corridor towards the police tape blocking the entry to apartment 9B. The pungent smell that had alerted the neighbours was stinging his nostrils. The body must have been there for days, maybe longer. The blue and white strips of plastic crossed the open door in a zigzag that stretched from top to bottom. He peered through the triangular gaps. The apartment was tiny, even by inner-city standards. He could see almost everything. The pristine linen-covered couch by the window, matching armchair, coffee table, all organised neatly in front of a flat-screen television fixed to the wall. Expensive sound system discreetly wired in. Stylish photographic prints of Bondi Beach hung on the walls, and a decaying bunch of gardenias sat in a flash vase on the marble kitchen bench. Despite the size, Bailey was in no doubt the apartment had cost a bomb. Sydney property prices were bloody ridiculous. 2 male police officers in blue uniforms stood talking with a woman in a dark suit and a neat ponytail. By the body language of the men in blue, it was clear that she was in charge. They were whispering by a window that overlooked Rushcutters Bay Park, occasionally gesturing to the white body bag lying open on the carpet at their feet. Bailey could see one side of the victim's face. She was beautiful. Blonde hair, sophisticated makeup, and a large diamond in her ear. She had obviously looked after herself. The discoloration in her skin and the marks on her neck suggested that her death wasn't an accident. Bailey held his hand to his nose. He could smell the soap from his shower and the booze from last night's session seeping through his pores. Anything to compete with the odour wafting from the corpse. He swallowed. It had been a long time since he'd seen a dead body. Just not long enough to forget. That smell, always the same.